Hey guys, Justin at Vintage55 again. This week's how-to video is a real simple one. A lot of people bring me coolers, like ice chests, old ones from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and say the gasket's gone. It won't hold a cool anymore. That's a real simple fix. If that's all it is, I mean, I can do it, but I'm going to show you how to do it right now. There's nobody that makes gasket replacement gaskets for any of these. You have to make them. So some of the early ones you can make out of cork, and you just get like gasket material and cut it in the right shape and cork. The 60s ones don't have a gasket. It's just plastic on plastic, and it's kind of cinched together. But the 50s ones generally, this is actually not a 50s one, but this is the same style, where it's metal, and it's just metal with a liner inside, and basically just a lid with a metal, just straight metal lid. A lot of the time they'll have a second panel, or it'll be double skinned, and there'll be insulation in the middle. But regardless, there's supposed to be a gasket on here. This one would have been cork, but I don't like using cork. It tends to corrode, and I found a gasket at Home Depot years ago that works amazing for all sorts of applications. But anyway, it's show you. It's a weather strip. So weather stripping. It's made by Frost King, and this is the biggest that they make it, in the 9/16 wide, 5/16 thick. That's the biggest they make it, and it's foam. It's not foam like everybody in the world tries to stick in between refrigerator doors when they're when they start going bad, and they're like, oh, I'm just gonna stick some foam in it, and it takes forever to get off, and it doesn't work. It doesn't hold cold in, and it's very, very porous. You can almost blow through it if you put your mouth to it. This is plastic foam, basically. It's harder. It doesn't deteriorate. There's no pores in it, but it is squishy, and it is made out of foam. It works really well. It holds up really well, and it comes in a roll. Like I said, it's about, I think they're like $9 or something for 10 feet, and it comes in white, gray, and black. And all this is, pull this a little closer. All this is, it's ribbed on one side, and flat on the other side, and it's hollow in the middle, so it can compress, and it's just made of foam. And then there's a sticky adhesive strip right on the back that peels off. Super easy, super easy. And this is what I use for coolers, to seal coolers, and it's actually meant, it's a weather stripping, it's actually meant to insulate, so it holds in cold very well, unlike a normal, like a foam, foam tape. So it's a really easy one. You just take your lid, take your gasket, which I already got a piece out, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a napkin, or a rag, or a paper towel, something, and you're gonna clean this out real good. If you might need to take a razor blade or a chisel if there's some of the old gasket still stuck to it, because you want that to be nice and smooth and nice and flat for the adhesion to stick. So once you get that all cleaned out, which I already did, you just take your gasket, and if there's corners, so if it's not rounded like this, you're gonna have to make corners. For corners, just take your scissors, you cut a 45 degree, and you put it across your corner, and then once you get to the other one, you cut another 45 degree, and it should line up perfectly there as long as you cut it straight. For a round one like this, rounded edges, just keep it straight, and keep the roll intact. Your curves kind of mess up your measurements a little bit, so you can never really measure it off very right unless you use like a rope. And anyway, this is easier. You just peel off a little piece of it. I like to start direct center on one of the longer edges. That's where the corks usually were divided. Just stick it on there, and then just as you go, peel a little bit off, get it down into the corner, stick and round. When you go around the corners, you got to kind of pull a little at a time and round it off. As you can see, I got a nice curve on that, and then you just go all the way around, Just peel off a couple inches at a time, stick it down a couple inches at a time. Make sure you get it stuck correctly the first time, because once that tape sticks on there and you pull it back off again, a lot of the stickiness is gone. The adhesive on them doesn't like to re-stick. It does hold very well, but it doesn't like to re-stick once it's been pulled off once. It just, yeah, I don't know. But I love this stuff. It works great. So once you get all the way around it, like that, you get to your end where it overlaps a little bit, and rather than using a pair of scissors, because you can't really get the edge right, I like to go ahead and squish it down as much as possible, overlapping. Take a razor blade, and just cut through that gasket, and then you can get it lined up perfectly without any gap, without any extra bubbling up, you know, arching up. And as you can see, that didn't take very much. I mean, it took probably 2 feet worth of gasket. This is a very small ice chest, obviously, but any one of these packs that you can buy will cover a whole ice chest, no problem. So I mean, you can re-gasket your cooler for, you know, less than 10 bucks. Real easy to do. The key is prep. Just make sure that you get all the old stuff off real good, so that it sticks well. And then when you put it back on, it's nice and insulated, and your gasket's good. So anyway, that's your how-to for today. Cooler gaskets, and you can use this on various applications, but that's the most common one. Anyway, thank you guys. Have a great week.